Howdy folks, welcome to Katie Phillips Scrapbook Designs. I'm Katie and today we're going to continue with the wedding album base page construction. Before we get too much farther, if you enjoy watching mini album crafting tutorials and walkthroughs and stuff, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. There should be a link down below. If you're interested in duplicating this project, there will be links to all the supplies in the description box down below. And if you have a question, go ahead and hit me up in the comments. I'll be happy to answer it. So first we need to cut the base page, and the base page is going to be 8 inches by 7 3/4. So let's go ahead and trim this section down to 7 3/4. By the way, this is 110-pound cardstock, and we're going to trim the 8.5 inch side to 8 inches. We're going to set this aside for a sec. We also need to cut a folio, and I'm going to use 110-pound for the folio. The folio is 7 by 11, so obviously we can leave the 11-inch side as it is, and we're going to cut the 8.5 inch down to 7. We're going to set this aside. This is a pocket page, so we're going to go ahead and cut the pocket for this. The pocket is going to be, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, 7 3/4 by 8 3/4. So we're going to cut the 11-inch side down to 8 3/4. And the 8.5 inch side we're going to cut to 7 3/4. And last, we need a couple of pockets and a flap. So the flap is 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. And the pockets, the first one is 8 1/4 by 4. So we're going to cut the 11-inch side down to 4 inches. And the 8.5 inch side, we're just going to trim 1/4 inch off. Then we're going to take the scrap from that, and we're going to cut another one to 4.5 by 8 1/4. And that should be all the cutting that we need. Okay, for scoring, I'm going to put the scoring measurements down here in the lower thirds. For the pockets, what I'm going to do is I'm going to score 1/2 inch on one side, fold it over, and then score where the total width of that pocket needs to be so that I actually get that actual width and it's not altered too much by the process of scoring. And I'm going to put you guys on fast forward. I decided to recut the flap because I don't think the 65-pound is gonna hold up to the weight of everything else that I was gonna put on it. So I redid the flap using 110-pound. So we're gonna start with assembling all the pieces and then putting the page together. All right, I'm gonna position this top pocket by adding this flap. This is the 11 by 7 flap that we scored at 7 inches, and it's gonna hook onto the top of this pocket. So I wanna make sure that this pocket is positioned where the flap is gonna end up where I want it. And that looks like about the right spot. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hold this down here. Add glue. Remove the glue from my fingers. And then repeat that on the other side. Now I have to let the glue all go down to the bottom, well, top actually. Now this is open on the bottom, and that's so that if I want to add a tag or something, a large tag, I can just slide it in and it will have all this space to work in. Or if I want to add smaller tags to the front, then they can just slide into this pocket that's going to be on the bottom. For page number 6, I think we can do this in 6 pieces of 65-pound cardstock. Need to make a couple of cuts first. So the first cut is going to be a piece that is 2 3/4 by 7 3/4. So I'm going to make the 2 3/4 inch cut along the 11-inch side of the paper, and then we're going to cut the 8.5 inch down to 7 3/4. You know what? I'm actually going to grab a guide here because the measurements along the top aren't exactly right. Don't know if you can see it, but this piece is actually kind of halfway between 7 3/4 and 7 7/8. So I'm going to use that to trim that down to 7 3/4. Now we need another flap. This one is going to be 7 inches by 7 3/4. I'm going to use the scraps. And we need a piece that is, actually we need, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the pocket. This one is gonna be 8 1/4 by 4. So I'm gonna trim the 4 here. And 8 1/4. And we need 3 flaps that are 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. So there is one, and now we're going to cut into the last piece, and we're going to cut the 11-inch side down to 4 3/4, and then do the 3 1/4 inch. Did I cut this to 4 3/4? I sure did cut this to 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. Okay, let's trim one of these down to 3 1/4. I'm going to set the scraps aside, and I'm going to score, and I will be sure and put the score locations down here in the lower thirds again, and put you guys on fast forward. It occurred to me that you could probably save yourself a little bit of paper by cutting one section of this. This is going to be an accordion. You could cut it down to 9 inches by 3 1/4, and then scoring at 1/2 inch and 5 inches. For whatever reason, I chose to cut 3 pieces. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue these 2 side flaps down. And we want to make sure that we get them all the way over to the edge. And I'm actually even okay with them being just a little bit beyond the edge here. Because we don't want the pocket that's going to go underneath to interfere with closing the flaps. So it's the left side pocket. Let's attach the right side pocket, or this is the free edge of the page, and now we're going to attach the spine edge. Let's dry fit this pocket again to make sure that it's going to fit in between these inner score lines. So there's one score line. Yep, it's going to fit just about perfectly. we're gonna go ahead and glue the pocket down and then attach the magnets, and then we'll be done with this page. Right, if you were wondering what was going on with the magnet placement and me changing my mind about placing a magnet here, part of the thought process was how many layers are going to be in between these magnets. Now, I know there's not going to be a whole lot of layers on top of this pocket. I might put a layer or two on the inside of this flap, and I might put more layers on top here. And there might be a couple of layers here, but I really felt that by placing this magnet on the outside of this flap, that would give me the best amount of connection or magnetism with the least amount of layers in between the two magnets. And what I may do is add another magnet down here just to secure it. In fact, just to give me a little bit of a better hold. I don't want to add a magnet up here because I know there's going to be pockets and, well, not pockets. There's going to be tags and photos and stuff. There's going to be probably quite a bit of material right there. So there wouldn't be a whole lot of point to adding a magnet up here. At least not to attach down there. Now I might add another set of magnets just so that there's one here and one here. We'll see. Yeah, I think I'm going to add one magnet or one pair of magnets up at the top. Just so that we've got a good solid connection between the two flaps there at the top. Eight magnets ought to be enough to hold all of this together through just about anything. We need to add the accordion, and this is going to be a portrait accordion, which is going to have more magnets. So let's get this assembled and glued down. thought I was going to be able to just attach it there. Then I realized, no, I need to map that before I put that down. So we need a mat that is 7 inches by 7.5. Actually, no, we need a mat that is 6 by 7.5. So let's see which way to go here. I know I want to trim the branding strip off. Just kind of gauging to see. That'll work. And you know, I think I'm going to actually use this side here because I mentioned in an earlier video that I thought I might have some interesting challenges with this paper and the wedding that I have in mind to gift this to the happy couple. Oh my gosh, that's upside down. Okay, let's flip that over. And I think this side of the pattern paper will work better than the other side. And I'm not sure at this point if this book is going to go to that couple, because COVID and other situations. So we shall see. Still wet? That is still wet. All right. I'm just gonna eyeball the center here. Where's that? And we need more magnets. So 8 magnets is not gonna be enough. We need 1. Probably 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. And if I'd been thinking about it, I would have put a magnet down there at the bottom, but that's okay. Just having these 3 magnetized together should be sufficient to kind of keep everything attached. Yeah, we can go dead center here. So if you think you know what kind of challenge I'm facing with this album and the decor, just leave a comment down below, and in a future video I will explain what the challenge is that I'm working through. So this actually will do it for fin number 3, pages 5 and 6. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. I'll be happy to answer them, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.